Good evening. I'm calling the meeting of the Planning Commission to order at 6 p.m. Madam Secretary, can I get a roll call, please?
Here.
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 Here. Here.
All right, thank you. Please join us standing and for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'll open it up for general public comment. Does anybody want to make a general public comment? I see none. I will close public comment. May I get a motion to approve of the agenda, please?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the agenda as submitted.
I second.
All right, we got a move by Commissioner Pritzel, a second by Commissioner Kramer. Can we vote electronically? Oh, there we go. Okay, it passes unanimously. Thank you. Can I get an approval for the minutes?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the minutes of the planning study session held on Tuesday, August 25, and the planning on Thursday, August.
Second.
All right, we got a move by Commissioner Kramer, a second by Commissioner Pritzel. All right, it passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, we have a public hearing item, PCN 25-0013/CU 25-0011.
Good evening, Chair Austin, members of the Planning Commission. For the record, Kobe Guano, planner with the City of Sparks. This item is a request for a conditional use permit to construct and operate a child facility and medical office use in the MF5 or multifamily zoning district on a 1.4 acre site located on the southwest corner of Sullivan Lane, Way. The subject site is outlined in red and is located just north of the Audi project, right here, and then southwest of Risley Elementary. In accordance with the Sparks Municipal Code, in order to operate a child care facility or a medical office in the MF5 zoning district, a conditional use permit is required, which is the reason for the request. The 1.4 acre site consists of 2 parcels.
Hey, Colby, can we take a
Yes, we
a recess for a second?
absolutely.
All right, Commissioner Elkins?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I have a disclosure to make. I need to disclose that I've attended fundraisers in the past and have contributed $100 a couple of different times to the Life Change Center over the past several years, and have donated a gift basket to the Life Change Center for a fundraiser. After realizing this, and I've conferred with the city's attorney's office, and in order to avoid an appearance of impropriety, I'm going to recuse myself from this item. Given my past financial donations in support of the applicant's operations, I believe that there is a clear situation where the independence of judgment of a normal person in my position could be affected. I will not advocate for or against approval of this item and will not take part in any discussions and will abstain from voting on this matter. Although the donations and fundraisers were several years ago, I still have an affinity for the organization.
Thank you. All right, Colby.
Just
Thank
want
you.
me to where I left
Yeah,
off, Chair.
pick up where you left off.
The 1.4 acre site consists of 2 parcels, with the northern parcel in the MF5 zoning district and the smaller southern parcel in the C2 zoning district. That's where the smaller building is located. The southern building was developed in 1970, subject to a building permit, and the northern building was developed in 1977, subject to a special use permit that allowed for the construction of a commercial office building on the site. Both have been used for commercial purposes since their development. In 2009, the Life Change Center, which classified as a medical office, obtained a business license to operate within the smaller building and has been operating since that time. The the property owner of the Life Change Center recently acquired the parcel to the north and intends to expand and renovate the existing office building to include medical and professional offices, as well as the child care facility. And that child care facility would be open to the public. In addition, the Life Change Center plans to construct site improvements across both parcels to enable integrated site functionality between the two parcels. The existing 3,795 square foot building located on the southern parcel is not proposed to be modified or renovated and will remain a medical office for the staff analyzed three main components with this request: access and parking, landscaping, and architecture. Primary access to the site is from Sullivan Lane. 2 entrance driveways are proposed that direct customers throughout the site to the shared parking areas. 1 exit driveway is also proposed on the southern portion of the site along Sullivan there. There's an existing driveway on the north side of the site from Capurro Way, which is proposed to be removed from the site to accommodate for the new building expansion. Cumulatively, Sparks Municipal Code requires a total of 39 parking spaces to be provided. 2 of the spaces must be ADA compliant, 1 of which must be van accessible. According to the site plan and parking analysis, a total of 44 parking spaces are being provided with this proposal. And 3 of those 44 will be ADA compliant, van accessible. The proposed access and parking will be shared between the 2 parcels. It comprise the project site, which would be required by the proposed condition approval number 7. In accordance with Sparks Municipal Code, the required landscaping area for the site is 11,153 square feet, and a total of 39 trees are required. The preliminary landscape plan shown here complies with these minimum standards. If I may, Chair, to answer Commissioner Kramer's question during the Tuesday study session, there is transmission lines located near the subject site. However, they're located on the east side of Sullivan, and therefore they won't be impacted directly by the proposed landscaping or the significant. The addition to the northern building is proposed to be 2,420 square feet. The building is proposed for architectural renovation. The existing or entire building is proposed for architectural renovation, expanding the existing openings in the structure to increase natural lighting coming into the building. The cladding, while keeping and refurnishing the existing brick sections, brings a new combination of fiber cement slatting, large wood finish panels, metal rain screen divided with reveals and steel shading elements, and a vibrant green metal soffit and fascia for the lifted shed section. Also proposed are bright steel pergolas, pergolas for shading and pronounced entrances, raised planters, and a slat metal fence that encloses the outdoor play area for the child care facility. It's staff's opinion that the proposed architecture of the northern building exceeds the architectural requirements of the MF5 zoning district. I've included the architectural renderings in Exhibit 6. These ones show the site. With the background and analysis concluded, I'll transition over to the findings. There's 5 findings that the Planning Commission is required to make in order to approve the conditional use permit, all of which staff has been able to make. For finding C1, use of the subject site for a child care facility and medical office would provide for continued non-residential land uses on the site in support of goal MG1. The site was previously developed with a commercial office building approximately 50 years ago and is located adjacent to existing single-family homes. Staff believes the proposed building addition and site improvements across both parcels provide a unique infill development opportunity in support of goal MG4. Additionally, the proposed development of this parcel would result in a total of 39 trees on the site, directly increasing Sparks' urban tree canopy in support of policy RC10. For For these reasons, city staff believes the request is in compliance with the city's comprehensive plan. For finding C2, the existing uses surrounding the subject site include an office building in the MF5 zoning district and single-family homes in the SF15 or single-family residential zoning district to the north across Capurro Way. Single-family homes in the SF6 or single-family zoning district and multifamily apartment complex in the MF4 zoning district to the west. A childcare facility and multifamily apartment complex in the MF4 and MF5 zoning districts to the east. An existing funeral and interment services building and commercial center in the C2 zoning district to the south. Staff believes the proposed childcare facility and medical office use on the site is compatible with the adjacent surrounding uses. The two subject parcels were again developed with commercial buildings and utilized for commercial purposes for approximately the past 5 decades. In addition, staff believes the site layout shown in Exhibit 4 is well considered, with the primary parking area in the center of the site and with significant landscaping along the exterior boundaries of the site, creating separation between the proposed parking and internal access ways in the adjacent residential uses. And for these reasons, staff believes that finding C2 can be made. For finding C3, the potential impairment of natural resources and the total population which natural resources will support without reasonable impairment was previously considered when the site was designated a commercial land use designation in the city's comprehensive plan. And city staff does not believe approval of this conditional use permit will impair the availability of those natural resources. Finding C4 relates to mitigating impacts through conditions. Proposed condition of approval number 5 would require the applicant to submit a final landscaping plan in accordance with Exhibit 5 or what's shown on the screen prior to the issuance of any building permits, as well as maintaining the landscaping on the site throughout the life of the project. Due to the site's proposed shared access and parking across the 2 subject parcels, proposed condition number 7 would require a reciprocal access and parking agreement be recorded and on file with staff prior to a certificate of occupancy for the northern building that's being renovated and expanded. Due to the project's adjacency to existing residential uses, staff is proposing condition of approval number 6, which would require the applicant to submit a site lighting and photometric analysis to demonstrate zero light spillover at property lines prior to the issuance of a building permit. That's especially essential where it abuts the single family and the multifamily parcels. And proposed condition of approval number 14, which would limit the hours of construction for the project from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday with no work on Sunday. For finding C5, public notice was sent to 45 property owners and published in RGJ on September 2nd, as prescribed by NRS and Sparks Municipal Code. And as of today, staff has received no public comment. Staff believes that the required findings can be made and is recommending approval of the conditional use permit today. And with that, I'm available for any questions, as is the applicants.
Thank you, Colby. Commissioners, do we have any questions for staff? No, the applicant, do you want to add anything?
No, we agree with the condition that
Do any commissioners have questions for the applicant? Okay, this is a public hearing item, and it looks like I have 3 people that wish to speak. So we'll open it up to public comment. And we have Marvis Butel.
Marvis.
You want to, yes. You can come up here. State your name, and then you get 3 minutes to.
Okay, my name is Marvis Butel. I will be living right across the street on Capurro from this proposed development. I'm just kind of interested in what kind of a medical facility is going in there. I mean, it doesn't seem like very many parking spaces for all the people who are going to be working there, plus the people who are going to be coming there. So I'm just, what kind of a medical facility is this? What do they do there? Is it like an urgent care, or do they have some specific? Okay.
Mike, yeah, okay. Thank you. Next, Samantha Gonzalez.
Hello, I'm Samantha Gonzalez. I live a street over on Ponderosa Drive. And so the questions I have are the traffic study. And if they analyze like how many accidents are on Sullivan, because we see quite a few accidents there, probably weekly. There's a lot of motorcycle traffic. And we're really concerned about all the kids from Agnes Risley, and then especially from the middle school, because they don't use crosswalks, they just walk back and forth. So that the traffic issue is a concern for us. And like Marva said, what kind of a medical facility is it? We're interested in that too.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Then Katie Nepper.
Good. Yeah. I'm Katie Nepper, and basically the same concerns as Marvis and Samantha, in that we don't know how many people are going to be coming in and out, that there's 44 spaces. That's good, and we really appreciate that they have not had access to Capurro, because I don't know if you're familiar with Capurro, but when you go west on Capurro, you can only go right out of there. And we walk that, my dog, my husband and I, we go that way down Capurro every day, every morning. And if there was more traffic on there, because if there's not enough parking places and people are parking on Capurro, that would not be a good thing for the residents on Capurro. So that's, otherwise looks really good. But the concern is if there's going to be traffic on Capurro.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, we have Kimberly Luna.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Luna. I live on Burway. So I'm just kind of wondering how much the time frame is with the construction, because we've had multiple constructions on that street, and obviously Sullivan and Audi, and it always does tend to extend. I just kind of want to know how long we're gonna have to stick with one entrance and one exit.
All right, does anybody else wish to speak on this particular item? I see none. I will close public comment. Do any commissioners have any further questions?
I'd like to hear from the applicant.
Okay.
To answer some of the questions.
Perfect.
Some of the comments.
Good evening. I'm Gabe Whitler with Odyssey Engineering, representing the applicant and owner.
Okay.
Yeah.
A couple of questions is the timeline of the construction, what type of medical facility, and what kind of traffic is
Yeah.
you looking at?
Certainly. So on the timing, we anticipate submitting for building permit by the end of the year. Probably break ground around March if everything goes smoothly. And it'll probably take about a year to do the remodel and addition. Now, most of that, because it's an infill site existing, most of that will take place within the site. There's a limited amount of utility infrastructure work we need to do and some frontage improvements along the roadways, but most of the impact will be within the site itself. So, ideally, there will be a very limited amount of traffic control and roadway interference for the construction. As far as the type of medical facility, it will be an expansion. So the Life Change Center owns that existing building to the south. And they provide, similar to a rehabilitation type facility services. They will be expanded into the new building. But a good portion of the building will be broken up into lease space, so they don't know exactly which tenants those will be. It'll probably be similar support system to what they do now. For example, the daycare center will be leased to a different entity to operate. So can't tell you exactly what professions and doctors will be in there quite yet, but it'll be similar, and a portion of it will be expansion of their existing facility to the south, so. And as far as traffic's concerned, yeah, our intent was to keep the access off of Sullivan, which is a large street. It's got center turn, shared turn lanes, so ingress and egress is much more efficient off of that roadway, and keep them off of the more residential street of Capurro. So that was kind of the intent for the circulation there.
Commissioners, do we have some questions for the applicant?
It's just on the floor plan there, to go back to the thing, maybe keep in there, it's listed as site, so in the med area, is that, still anticipating to be like mental health services kind of thing?
Yeah, like a psychologist type, you know.
With that size office, or even that, a dentist in there, or,
Possibly, yeah.
extra type of room,
Yeah,
they're small.
correct, yeah. Yeah, the intent is not to have a small ER. It's not that type of medical facility, but these types of services are considered medical office, even though it's kind of a broad range of uses they could fit within that.
So no urgent care?
No, that's not the
ER
intent, no.
care, so limited traffic.
Exactly, and based on their use and what they need currently for their facility and the code required calc for parking, we think we're gonna be adequate. And we are including a drop zone out front for the daycare, so people will be able to drop on site. We're not gonna have a drop zone out on the street or anything, it'll be internal.
So it would be professional med support services.
Exactly,
For life care.
I think that's the intent, yes.
All right, commissioners, do we have any more questions? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. Do we have any discussions on this item, commissioners? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the conditional use permit CU 25-0011 associated with PCN 25-0013 to construct and operate a childcare facility and medical office use in the MF5 multifamily residential zoning district within a building proposed to be expanded to 22,100 square feet and associated site improvements on an approximately 1.4 acre site located at 2105 Capurro Way and 1755 Sullivan Lane based on findings C1 through C5 and the facts supporting these findings as set forth in the staff report and subject to the 14 conditions of approval.
Second.
All right, we got a move by Commissioner Kramer, a second by Commissioner Nieberline. Please vote. Oh, do we have any further discussions? All right, let's vote. All right, it approved unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're moving on to general business, PCN 21-0008/PD 25-0003.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. For the record, Scott Carey, Development Services Manager. Tonight for the commission's review and consideration is the final plan development handbook for the Andelin Ranch project. Just one thing to point out for the record, from a procedural standpoint, this is a general business item and a public hearing is not required for this. Planning Commission, I'm sure, is well aware of the site, 8100 Pyramid Way. This is the Andelin family farm. And earlier this year, the commission saw an annexation request, comprehensive plan amendment request, rezone request, and then the tentative approval or the tentative handbook for associated with this development. On June 23rd, the City Council approved all 4 of those requests. This project's in the city of Sparks. In its approval of the tentative handbook, the City Council specified that the applicant had 1 year to come before City Council for final approval of the handbook. And essentially, with the PD zoning on place, we don't have a final handbook until the final handbook is adopted and recorded. And essentially, with the final handbook, that acts as the zoning code for this parcel, and it's basically this exercise for the final handbook is a conformance exercise where we're looking for substantial compliance with the tentatively approved handbook. As former planning manager Rob Pizell used to say, it's kind of speak now or forever hold your peace, because once the handbook is recorded, the zoning is in place, it's locked on the property until it's amended. So the proposed handbook covers the northern 115 acres of the subject site, which is used currently for the Andelin Family Venture Farms. Included in the handbook are kind of two primary drivers for the handbook. The first is to allow for the agritourism use, which has been operating on this site for several decades now. Sparks Municipal Code does not have an agritourism use, so the proposed handbook would allow this use to continue, and it would allow development standards for it to increase in the future. Another key consideration with the proposed handbook is to allow for alternative temporary parking standards for special events. Currently, Sparks Municipal Code doesn't, if you're gonna have a parking lot, it's gotta be paved. What the proposed handbook is in the northwest corner, there's 10 acres of current alfalfa field that's used during seasonal festivals for overflow parking. The proposed handbook establishes a maximum of 80 days per year that this field could be used for special event parking without it being paved. But overall, one of the key considerations that has been carried over between the tentative handbook and the final handbook is the provision that a minimum of 50 acres of the site would be maintained for ranching operations and could be preserved as a farm moving forward. As discussed at Tuesday's Planning Commission study session, there was one update we would like to make on the record today. That's associated with the drainage report. The drainage report is part of Appendix 6 of the final handbook, and this kind of calls out how the site is going to have drainage and how they're going to do stormwater conveyance. Pages 169 and 170 of the PDF on Exhibit 3 have been modified to add in this new section 6.11. So I'd like to invite our senior civil engineer, Susan Yang, to explain kind of the mechanism for this section of the drainage report we've been asking for.
So good evening, commissioners, and my name is Susan Yang. I am the senior civil engineer. So for the drainage study, it should follow Truckee Meadows Regional Drainage Manual. That's called Truckee Meadows Manual or Manual. The manual requires the increased flow between the existing and the proposed conditions to be contained on site. But sometimes there is regional study for the site. So the regional study usually includes a large area in the analysis and estimates the flow from each contributing area and evaluates the current existing drainage system and propose a new drainage system or off-site improvement if needed. So when you have a regional study, all you have to do is compare site-specific study to the regional study. And however, for this project, the original study and the site-specific study used different methods, so we cannot compare apple to apple. So as a result, we went back to the Trucking Meadows manual and asked the applicant to add a section to the handbook. By doing this, the city reserved the right to demand a pond in the future. Of course, it will be evaluated on a case-by-case basis, and the factors like the size of the project, the type of the project, and the timing of the project will be taken into consideration to determine whether a pond is required or not. So if you have any questions, I'm here to answer your questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There are 5 findings that the planning commission's being asked to consider for this final handbook. For final handbooks, they're a little different sort of findings in that they're in the negative. And basically with this being a conformance review, the question is here is if these are not the case, then you can't make the finding. So the first one is vary the proposed gross residential density or use. The proposed handbook presents the same gross residential density and intensity that was included in the tentative handbook. The development standards of section of the handbook, which regulates density and intensity of uses, has not changed. The second finding is vary the proposed ratio of residential to non-residential use. The ratio of residential to non-residential use in this final handbook is identical to that was included in the final or the tentative handbook that was approved by the city council. The land uses identified in the proposed handbook are 100 acres of agritourism and 16 acres of future supporting commercial land uses. Number 3 is involve a reduction of the area set aside for common open space or the substantial relocation of such areas. No changes to the areas set aside for common open space are included in this final handbook. Number 4 is substantially increase the floor area proposed for non-residential use. The proposed final handbook does not increase the floor area for any non-residential uses beyond that was permitted in the tentative handbook. And then finally, substantially increase the total ground areas covered by buildings or involve a substantial change in the height of the buildings. The proposed handbook does not increase the total ground areas covered by buildings or involve any changes to the height of the buildings than what was included in the tentative. So overall, Mr. Chairman, staff believes that the proposed final handbook is in substantial conformance with the tentatively approved handbook, and we recommend that the Planning Commission recommend approval to the City Council. That concludes my presentation. Be happy to answer any questions. We do have the applicant's representative here as well.
Thank you, Scott. Commissioners, do we have any questions for staff? Okay. Does the applicant want to add anything?
We agree with everything.
Commissioners, do you have any questions for the applicant? No? All right. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to forward a recommendation of approval to the City Council for PD 25-0003 associated with PCN 21-0008 as the Andelin Ranch Final Development Handbook is in substantial compliance with the Andelin Ranch Tentative Development Handbook as set forth in the staff report.
All right, Commissioners, do we have any further discussion on this item? All right. We have a move by Commissioner Pritzo, a second by Commissioner Reed. Let's vote. Okay, it passes unanimously. Thank you, Scott. All right, do we have any announcements?
Mr. Chair, I have none.
All right. So I'll reopen public comment for general public comment. Does anybody have any public comment? I see none. I'll close public comment. Commissioners, do you have any announcements? Nope. All right. Meeting adjourned.